All right, welcome, my people, welcome. And I'm just here to give my peace of mind, and opinion. What I am saying is based on my opinion, so don't come after me. But the state that I live in decided to start making soda tax. You know, and it just bamboozles me sometimes because instead of charging the rich, even more, we're gonna charge the working class and the class that's barely surviving to work, you know. So with this bill that they are implementing, as on the name it says, soda tax, they gonna tax beverage from restaurants, from convenience stores. There's going to be soda, sugary drinks, sugary coffee, or anything similar to it, some beverage that's alcoholic. And there was another thing I have to check. It's just it's just something that just came out of the blue that I need to talk about. So I didn't do my proper research. But like, it's just something that it really bamboozles me because in this day and age, in this time where we are, things are not cheap. And the new $40 is the new 20 from back then, which is actually insane. I never seen that before. And it just bamboozles me instead of doing what they're supposed to, charge the rich. And I might even get some controversy from what I'm saying, but I feel like that's the route. You gotta charge the rich. You gotta make them pay a little bit more because what we are doing, we're working twice as hard, and yet we're getting the minimum. At least that's what I seen. At least that's how I feel. Many other people I seen work their ass off. Don't even get me started with work abuse to work compensations where people don't know their rights. A lot of people don't know their work rights, and it just bamboozles me because we have the power as the people to speak up and make some change. No matter, oh, it takes some time, oh, it's a fashionable time for, make some damage, make some revolution, or like change the world. Yeah, with time, but with the amount of people speaking up, we can speed up the process. And it's just something that at least I look at it in a perspective like people are a little dumb, because I don't know, they can't just be making these type of laws, at least in my opinion, and just think like it's the problem solved. But with that, I'm gonna let you guys be. That's just my opinion. Again, my perspective on how I see things, because there are some things that are right and there are some things that are wrong. And I very much think that this is one of the wrong things that they're doing, But on the upside, at least kids can eat for free on the school. That is basically why basically why they're making this type of law. But it doesn't make sense because there's already a law on top of that for kids to eat lunch and breakfast for free, But I just think, like, yes, kids should eat all the time, for free, especially if they're in school. But again, I feel like charging us, the people, the working people who are working their ass off, like, sometimes, I'm serious, ask your coworkers if they are safe, if they feel okay, because 9 times out of 10, that person, depending on what, it doesn't matter where you're working at, depending on the person, they are working their ass off to feed their whole family. There's, like, I'm being so serious, there's somebody out there, and this is probably the true story because the world is big. There's somebody's life out there who is working twice as hard in the McDonald's, and just to provide to their family because they don't have other options of to. So again, I just feel like this is not the right approach. Right idea, wrong approach. But again, that's just my hot take. I may get some controversy, I may not. I'm just speaking my mind. It's just one of the opinions where I think where we should tax the rich a lot more. If we use the money that the rich has to change the system, everybody will be happy. And I'm saying that because take a good example at bank workers. Name one bank worker who don't like their job. They're getting paid. They're getting good money. They're getting a lot of, they're getting a nice job. Meaning if we work and did how we're supposed to do, society would be very much nicer. It's just like if the minimum wage increased for a certain amount and the twice as hard work paid off, everybody would be happy. But we are in a day and age of society where you can hard work and that shit is not gonna cover the bill. You have to go to work on your last straw, and that shouldn't be it. It shouldn't be it. But all right, y'all, with that, it was just my nice hot take that I just randomly thought, because it just bamboozles me sometimes. People don't have awareness, people don't know, people don't think. And I think this is one of the things where people did not think. They just kids need to eat, let's tax the working class. Oh yes, boss, that's idea number one right there. So I just think it's the right idea. Yes, kids should eat for free, breakfast and all in school. Again, I didn't do my research properly. I do know that this involves kids eating, but I did enough research to know that the working class is and will be getting affected more than already is. It's already bad enough that things are going up. Things are going up, and not in a good way. Like gas is about to hit nearly $4 to $5 depending where you are. To me, in my locations, they're around that. 4 something, nearly $5. 3 something, rounded up to $4. So it really depends on where you work at and see this. But that's just my hard take. And yeah.